coordinator of this meeting.
John,
I want to
before you continue, can you ask Graham to record, because I don't have the right to record.
I see that recording is on.
Oh, okay.
So whoever is done that.
Yeah.
Is it you, Graham?
I don't know, John. Let me just have a look quickly.
No, it's me.
No, it says recording started. It's on already.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
So it's on
So
already.
is it you, Mandla, who's doing the recording?
Yeah.
Okay. On that score, then let me just inform everyone that we are also recording the session. This very recording will be made available to everyone after day 2. I think as a SHRA, we will then post this, and our marketing and communications team, led by Mandla Mchoko in this case, will assist us with that. So there will be a recording sent to you in a day or 2 after this session has taken place. In fact, just on the things that we are going to still send to you, we will also still send to you this presentation. We thought, let us only for now share with you the learner guide or the manual that we sent out to you since last week. But for the presentation and all that, I thought, let us try and use the next 2 days just focusing ourselves on this PowerPoint presentation. As much as the facilitator will make reference to the manual and the various sections in the manual, I think our focus, though, would be preferably that we give it to this PowerPoint presentation. As I was saying, my name is John Mufukeng. I am the coordinator of this session. I'm not alone from the Social Housing Regulatory Authority. There are also colleagues of mine who are here with us. Right up under my screen, I can see Mandla Mchoko, who is the Marketing and Communications Officer, and he'll be taking care of our logistics and making sure that from recording to the overall quality of this call, we are safeguarded. However, that's a mammoth responsibility and task to leave only to Mandla. So we plead with everyone to just observe the protocols of this call. Please keep on mute all the time. We will open for questions and answers at various intervals, and there you will be allowed to unmute yourself and put your question across. We also, as by now I'm sure everyone is familiar, that through a platform such as this, you have an option to also put on a chat line your questions and comments. So do use that, but I encourage everyone to write down the questions, the comments that you may have, such that by the time we open for a Q&A, you then can bring those forward, and so that we can interact with you at that level. So other than Mandla, I see there is Temba Mbangata, who is our social housing institution accreditation specialist at the SHRA. This is the man who takes care of the applications for new SHIs, as we call them, that seeks accreditation. Sanele Maluleke, who is also a member of our team, based at the project side of things in terms of getting projects accredited into the system and processing those, is also with us today. I had heard that Lesego is here, but will be leaving us shortly because there are also subcommittee meetings that are on parallel still taking place within the organization. So Lesego, who's our marketing and communications manager, is here with us. And I think I've covered everyone in terms of the team from the SHRA. I will be here throughout the session and tomorrow as well. We have asked Graham J to take us through this content and really help us to unpack it and bring it close to us. I'm just maybe in context, let me give this that as the SHRA, one of our mandates and functions is really to please keep on mute. If possible, please keep a camera off as you're logging in, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep on mute and switch off your cameras. So from our function as the regulator, one of the key things that we do in our execution of our mandate is the monitoring and the evaluation of the sector's health. And one of the areas that we therefore work and are on consistent look over is the financial sustainability of not only the social housing institutions that we work with, but also with projects, social housing projects, or as one might call it, estates that we monitor. So our focus really here today, in fact, this being the first session that we will be running in this current training calendar, this financial year, is on this topic of financial management. It was supposed to have been one of the sessions that we ran as we closed last year, but from planning point of view, a number of things did not work well, and therefore we thought, just as well as we had made a promise to yourselves that we will still facilitate and run this session for the benefit of everyone, we thought let us then use and keep to our promise. So today and tomorrow, really our focus will be on nothing else but the financial sustainability, the financial well-being, the financial considerations that as players in the sector, one needs to be mindful of. I do take cognizance that we are joined by those who are already partners with us in the sector in form of social housing institutions that have stock and that they are managing tenancies, but also the other delivery agents or private developers who are already accredited or have accredited projects with the SHRA and are managing such estates and they have tenants. However, I do note that in the profile of participants or delegates that are joining with us this morning, we also have quite a lot of people who have expressed interest in understanding the goings of the social housing program in broad terms. So while on one hand, this session will assist us to nudge and help us nudge to that point, be in mind that we are not going to achieve all that in this next 2 days. In fact, if you looked at our training program, which we publicized, there are a number of sessions that we have set up, which would, as you enlist yourself respectively for all of those, that would assist. So for now, what perhaps I'm pleading for is that even in our questions and answer sessions, let us really try and hone it in on this particular topic of financial management. There are sessions that will be focusing us deeply into, for example, areas of project development, project packaging, social housing institution establishment and accreditation, and so forth and so forth. So for now, I am pleading that even as we process this content that we will be taking this morning and tomorrow, let us really try to keep it to this particular topic and not veer off, so that we use the time allocated for this maximally so. On that score, I just want then to hand over the session to our facilitator, Graham J, who will be with us and facilitating this for the next 2 days. Graham, just then I'm not doing much of the introduction. I think I'm therefore allowing you to start there in terms of giving that broad overview of yourself and your profile. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. So thanks very much, John. John, so can I just check with you? So from Shra's side, who's going to be with us this morning in case there are questions that are posed that that need a Shra response?
So I am here. Mandla is here. Sanele is here from the project side of things, and I'm sure there might be, although as I just said now, that I really want us to focus all the, possibly all the questions on the subject at hand. But Sanele is here from project side of things in the event that there are questions that may require project accreditation, project application. So she'll assist us with the bit on that. And Temba Mangata, who I've also mentioned that he's here, is the colleague that is responsible for the SHI accreditation. In fact, this particular topic, it's one of Temba's key focus when they receive a new application, to say in the pack that the SHI or aspiring SHI or aspirant SHI, is there evidence of documents, policies, and so forth that speaks to financial makeup of the thing. So those are the four colleagues included from the Shra side of things, Graham.
All right. So that's just obviously in case there are questions that need a particular Shra response, just so that I know.
Yeah. Now tell me, on your presentation, I can see the screen. I don't know when it's only on my side, but I can see the screen, which is actually not giving a full view of your presentation. I'm not sure what is happening there. Okay, the presentation has completely gone. There we go.
How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay, so John, this is one of the reasons why I don't like Teams for training, is because it's not particularly user-friendly. It's very good for meetings and collaboration, but from a training point of view, Zoom is a much better tool. Guys, the thing is that I now can't see anybody. So I'm also just looking at the presentation, and it's obviously difficult for me to interact with you from a presentation and a seeing point of view. So I think that the way for us to go is that as I'm going through the presentation and discussing the various issues with you, I think maybe if you have questions, ask the questions as we are going along. If I want to keep them in abeyance, then I'll let you know. But I now can't see anybody who's putting up their hand or typing something into the chat box. John, maybe is it possible? Could you maybe monitor that for me?
Certainly, Graham. Between myself and Manza,
Okay.
we will monitor that. But as I indicated in the earlier remarks, that we will open at various intervals an opportunity for everyone to then ask questions.
All right.
So there's
John,
a chat line that Manza and I also
can monitor that on your side, because I now can't see any. I mean, I'm looking at my presentation, and I've just, because I'm talking to you, I can obviously just see your video. All right. So
if there's a need, we will interrupt you between myself and Manza if there are pressing things that you may need to address at that given point.
Thank you. Thanks, John. All right. So morning, everybody, and welcome to the first part of the session on financial management. Also, just I think a big thank you to Shra for making all of the arrangements. There's a lot of work that goes into putting these type of sessions together, and you know, my point of contact at Shra is John, and it's always such a pleasure for me to deal with John, because things always happen according to the time frames that we set out. So thank you very much, John, for getting everything done, and then obviously for your colleagues that I don't interact with, that have also been instrumental in making sure that we put all of this together and it all happens. As John indicated, there is a learner manual that goes with this particular presentation, which has been sent to you. I understand, I believe. There is a slightly updated version. There were a couple of things that are changed in the manual. And also the manual that you have, one of the problems is that there are no page numbers. So I have updated that. And I think that John has indicated that that will be sent out to all of you together with the presentation, because obviously this presentation does accompany the learner guide, so you'll be able to follow the two together. What we're going to be doing is we're going to have a look at all issues that are financial management related. In actual fact, I see somehow I've got a little bit of a gremlin that's crept in here. So I need to, John, in fact, I'll just update this as well on the presentation. So this is from one of the previous presentations that we did on property management. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at, so to start off with, what is financial management? We're going to talk about financial planning and risk management. We're going to talk about financial forecasting and budgeting, then the accounting side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we go about linking this to funding, financial analysis and reporting, monitoring performance, and auditing. And obviously that's important from SHRA's perspective in terms of ensuring that projects run according to according to legislation, according to how SHRA wants those projects to operate from a financial point of view. And so probably a lot of that we'll talk about more tomorrow. I know that John has indicated that the people that are here, there would be sort of a cross-section of those that are looking to get into social housing, those that might be in the process of applying for provisional accreditation, those that might also be far more experienced and already running social housing institutions. So
Sorry, Graham,
I think that this would be of benefit to everybody who is attending. Yes, John.
Hi, just something in terms of the presentation. Is it possible to then put it on presentation mode?
No, I prefer not to, because I like to write on the presentation and I can't do it in presentation mode.
Okay, does that not, colleagues, just give me an indication then if, does that not present a challenge from visibility point of view that we use the mode, the current mode that we are in, given Graham's thing? Are we good? Tell us, just sensitize us if
You see, John, in this mode, I can write on it.
It's cool. All right. I hope then everyone can from visibility point of view is not challenged.
Yeah. So John, I think that maybe some of the actual financial statements, when we get there, then what I'll do is I'll put it on presentation mode, because we're going to need a larger screen for that.
All right. Okay. Sure.
All right. Good.
You know the next class.
Sorry, excuse me. Somebody ask a question?
No, I think it was just someone who was unmuted or something.
Oh, all right. Okay. So guys, just you'll see a little bit of my CV and some of my background. I've been involved in the real estate environment for many years. Also was involved in the social housing environment. I was a director of a social housing company, which was called the Alexandra Social Housing Company. And in fact was head of the audit and finance committee as well for some time. So ASHCO was a company that was put together as part of the initial Alexandra urban renewal program, which was under Thabo Mbeki's presidency. So as I said, it was quite some time ago. So where we're going to start is just with some intro information around accreditation. Again, John, if you can just manage things from the back end there, because obviously I can't see anything now. We know that we have a piece of legislation which is called the Social Housing Act, and this is Act 16 of 2008. And in terms of the Act, any institution that wishes to get into the business of social housing has to apply in the prescribed format to the regulatory authority for accreditation. So that would obviously be SHRA in this particular case. And when you deal with SHRA, you will obviously be given those prescribed formats, and SHRA will indicate what its requirements are from a compliance point of view. And of course, one of the important issues relates to finances, and that's of course what we're going to be discussing today and tomorrow. And then also, sorry, John, just for those people who've joined us a little bit later, just to reiterate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight through till 10:30. We'll have a quick 5-minute break at 10:30. People want to just stretch their legs, get a cup of coffee, and then we'll carry on thereafter, instead of having lots of little breaks and it becomes very disjointed. So the definition of accreditation, insofar as the Social Housing Act is concerned, means that what SHRA will do is screen, evaluate, provide provisional and final accreditation to the particular social housing institution. And this has to happen in order to allow that social housing institution to access grants. And again, as I say, tomorrow we'll have a look at some of the numbers. So the current capital grant is around about 270,000 per unit, and I'm going to be talking to you tomorrow around the numbers that are required in order to make a social housing project more viable, because obviously one of the issues with social housing is the ability to be able to make that particular project viable. So therefore, in order to be able to operate in the social housing environment, okay, you need to be properly accredited, and all of this will be regulated by SHRA. So some of you will of course know that already, because you would be interacting with SHRA already. Okay, so insofar as the qualifying criteria that SHRA needs to apply for the purposes of accreditation, we also need to look at the regulations. So every piece of legislation has regulations that are attached to it. Ladies and gents, you can find all of this on SHRA's website, and also just to point out to you, there's a lot of very useful information on SHRA's website, and I would strongly suggest that you do visit it in order to pick up the information that is on the website. It's in fact one of the institutions where there really is a substantial amount of information available on their website. So in terms of Regulation 3, so what is it that the social housing institution needs to be compliant with? So you have to be constituted in the appropriate legal form. You obviously can't run, for example, as a partnership. So you can't just decide with a friend of yours that you're going to get into social housing. So you need to operate in the appropriate legal form. The founding documents, so this would generally be a company, would indicate that the profits will not be distributed to members. So it's got to go back into the social housing project. You need to conduct your affairs in compliance with the principles of good governance. I'm going to just skip out the next one for the moment. You need to promote effective tenant management